From being the youngest ever light heavyweight champion to being an avid candidate in the GOAT debate, Bones is coming back for his throne. And trust me when I say this, ring rust has got nothing on him. And here's why things aren't looking good for the Frenchman. And no, don't think I'm being biased. There are just way too many layers to why Jones will actually dominate. Things like Ciryl having never faced a kicker like Jones.
A hard time reaching John. Oh, John landed a high kick. He's hurt. DC was stunned by that head kick. Jones trying to press the issue here.
And yes, Gane is one incredible kicker too.
Oh man, that one landed too. That kick landed right on the chin.
The bashing Derek tries to get you coming in. See that?
You may have noticed that all of the Frenchman's foes regularly become overwhelmed. Ngannou was the one guy who wasn't overwhelmed, and look what happened there. This is where John says hi, probably the only guy who can outperform Gane's kicks. Plus, the legs do be perfect. He really does have muscle right where he needs it. But Gane's posture while fighting is where he's gonna get punished the most. The Frenchman often assumes a bladed stance. That exposes too much of his lead leg, and he'll have to endure a lot of different kicks that will cause his kneecap to snap back each time he advances. I see him flying off his feet and then boom, the ground and a pound. Or, you know, taking enough hits may make him an easier target to out-wrestle. Did someone say wrestling? John Jones's alleged decline in his wrestling skills is problematic because, let's be honest here, he was good. And yes, Ciryl may know his way around the division, having ample experience, but this will be the first time he faces a seasoned wrestler. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. This is a known fact of the universe. And because John has been on the opposite side of the spectrum weight-wise, you can make the case that he will be using his wrestling to bring down Gane. His effective takedown maneuvers due to his reach will definitely come into play. He may not be Khabib, but if a man can give Gustafsson a tough time in his own domain, you best believe Ciryl will need to practice his ground game against John. Although he is taller and looks way too big, he better not get caught by Jones. On the plus side, Bones, thankfully, seems to have realized that he needs a more technical approach. Henry Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist, has been John's trainer for a year.
He's coming out here to work out with me for a good 4 days. So he's getting some work done, you know. I'm gonna adjust him. He's come out to me a few times already. This is the fourth time he's coming out.
And knowing Triple C, if Cejudo makes even 1% of the improvement he made with Welly, Gane will be in for a treat. But wrestling has always been a part of his bones. Get it? Let's talk about his training, which is also the reason he will unquestionably body Gane. Brandon Gibson, John's trainer, talked in an interview a few years back. Even during the offseason, John was outspoken about his refusal to exercise at all. A couple of months after lying on the sofa, he would just spawn out of nowhere. But what actually made him John Jones is that besides hard lifting, he also does cardio. But hey, Ciryl Gane also has impressive cardio for a heavyweight. But sadly, it's not gonna be enough because, like many, his cardio is more of an on and off thing. Yes, conditional is the word. The Frenchman's cardio is unrivaled when he has the option to decide the guidelines for his conflicts. If Gane can keep the combat on the ground, he will always have enough gas in his tank. The bulk of fighters with strong cardio also have this trait. Max Holloway, for example, virtually always establishes the ground rules in the fights that he takes part in.
And now he's got to use his legs, push Conor off of him, and make sure that Conor can't get comfortable enough to land hard blows. Now he's controlling him again. So far, good defense by Max.
Ciryl does not, however, possess the same level of cardiovascular fitness when compelled to wrestle.
Nice knee, the leg, right arm free. He was reaching across, trying to lift with his offhand.
Here,
a lot of work.
The cardiovascular system of John Jones, on the other hand, has been tested in the octagon in every scenario.
From Bell out of here. Oh, big shots. Big shots by John Jones. Gustafsson's in trouble. That's it. That's it. Wow.
And, unsurprisingly, has never failed. If Jones can get Gane to engage in grappling with him, the Frenchman will likely fumble, much like he did against Francis Ngannou.
In the top control without not much being damaged,
but this is a long time
since though Ngannou will end the fight in a position.
Incredible!
Even if he manages to evade it, which is honestly a difficult challenge for anyone, Ciryl Gane's still going to be facing a threat with a greater gas tank than his own. The fact that Jones has more experience winning titles gives him another edge. In 3 of his battles, Ciryl Gane has gone the full 5 rounds, and after his last bout against Francis Ngannou, he won't be at his best against Jon Jones despite his outstanding performance in previous matches. The Frenchman has participated in fewer UFC contests than Bones has championship matches to his credit. Even the thought of Jon Jones taking part in a fight with less than 5 rounds sounds strange. His performance in the first few rounds will have a big impact on how well he does in general. Jones is also good at keeping his momentum going, which is something Gane hasn't done. When pitted against the former 205er, who has an encyclopedia's worth of expertise, his lack of experience will definitely cost him. Okay, enough about physical fighting. The psychological component and Jones's adaptability are just completely different things. Ciryl Gane is a confident fighter, and why not? He's great. But if he's facing up against Jon Jones in the octagon, will that confidence still be there? The guy has never lost a fight. Yeah, 1 or 2 close calls have been there, but come on, he's the GOAT. Also, let's not talk about the bout where he was disqualified.
Referee Steve Mazzagatti has called a stop to this contest. Due to intentional elbows, there's been a disqualification of Johnny Bones Jones. Therefore, the winner is Matt Hamill.
But otherwise, he's been perfect. And considering just how talented Jon is when it comes to sheer knowledge about his game, it'll be to assume that he hasn't done his homework on Gane. Man does his research where it's needed. When he spoke to Joe Rogan and his podcast on his fight against Ovince St. Preux, he told the analyst the attention to detail he invests in his opponents, dissecting their every move and habits, which is why Jon's counters seem so calculated. It was almost as though he knew they were about to throw a jab before they knew themselves. On top of all that, there's no way this won't be one of the biggest fights of all time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying to see if Jon will win or not. And if he does, I can't wait to find out if it's gonna be a close fight. And the reason is that even though this man is the GOAT, he has a complicated legacy. But all that's doing is making this fight even more exciting, because we all want to know if Bones will live up to his reputation. Cause, as I said, the man's got a checkered past. He's undoubtedly one of the greatest ever. I mean, the man was a champion at just 23, and that too in a very competitive division. He's beaten DC, Chael Sonnen, you name it. If that doesn't clue you into Jon's greatness, I don't know what will. But as we all know, Jon had been caught cheating by the end of his run, and his fights were getting closer and closer. Don't get me wrong, he lapped the division, and he didn't lose till the very end. But the fans did start to wonder about his apparent invincibility. We all want to see him come back and show us he's the greatest of all time. Everyone's gonna want to tune in and see whether he crumbles or goes on another incredible championship run. He's constantly evolving, constantly a student of the game. He'll let you do your own thing, only to find that chink in the armor. And when he does, it's lights out. Gane may be the best fighter in the division, but Jon is coming in as arguably the greatest fighter of all time. And that is precisely why Jon Jones will destroy Ciryl Gane.